Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. Today's matchup features the College of Staten Island Dolphins taking on the D'Youville University Saints. For the Dolphins, they are looking to make it back-to-back wins after they picked up the victory last weekend in their matchup with the St. Thomas Aquinas College Spartans. The Dolphins 2-7 overall, 1-1 against the East Coast Conference. With a victory today, the Dolphins move above the 500 mark in conference play, and they also move above the 500 mark at home. The Saints enter today's match with a record of 1-8. They are 0-4 in conference play. As I mentioned before, the Dolphins' last outing, a win over the Spartans. That game was played 1 week ago. The Saints also last played 1 week ago when they faced the University of the District of Columbia. They dropped that match by a final score of 2-1 after the go-ahead goal was scored by the Firebirds in the 71st minute. The Dolphins won their game last weekend by a 2-0 final score. In that game last weekend for the Dolphins, Nicholas Kashenko found the back of the net for the second time this season. Brendan McGuire also scored his first goal of the season. We saw it earlier during our first women's soccer match, a goalkeeper miscue resulting in a Dolphins score. That is how McGuire scored last weekend. Much like Adriana Melgar used her hustle to create a Dolphins goal following what was a misplay by the keeper with a score. McGuire did the same as the keeper for the Spartans, Taver McDaniels, misplayed a ball in goal. It rolled off his fingertips. McGuire was able to follow the play and put the ball into the back of the net. That gave the Dolphins a 1-0 advantage at the time. A Kashenko header made it a 2-0 Dolphins advantage. They would cruise to the win by that same final score. For Amari Thompson, the Dolphins goalkeeper, he posted a clean sheet in last weekend's match against the Spartans, his second shutout of the season on his home turf. The Dolphins are 2-2 at home thus far this season. As I mentioned before, with a win today, they move above the 500 mark at home and above the 500 mark in conference play. So this Dolphins team also coming off one of their best efforts of the season last weekend as well. They scored multiple goals, as I've already mentioned, but it was a complete effort for the College of Staten Island. I mentioned how they scored a couple of times. They also had a shutout in goal, but it was a very complete effort for a Dolphins team that had a bit of a different looking lineup than we're used to seeing. It certainly paid off. Mohamed Sow now wearing the captain's armband for the Dolphins. He did good work in the midfield, and he will lead this Dolphins team out onto the pitch for today's game, looking to make it consecutive wins. The Saints have struggled this year. As I mentioned before, they come in with a record of 1-8. It's been a really tough season for them. They look to turn things around against this Dolphins team here at the College of Staten Island. For the Saints, if they can pick up a victory against the Dolphins this afternoon, it would be their first victory in conference play. Now, I did receive starters for both teams, and I'll give you the starters for the Dolphins first, in numerical order. Dennis Cotticelli, Luis Asensio Cueva, Mohamed Sow, Daniel Angulo, Shane Siegel, Nicholas Kashenko, Stephen Bronco, Leandro Angulo, Brendan McGuire, Stephen Flores, and Amari Thompson. Now, we did have some discrepancies between the official NCAA roster, the website roster, and the starting lineup that we received from D'Youville ahead of this game, but we do believe we had all of those inconsistencies figured out by the time we got the lineup set. And the starters for the Saints in numerical order will be as follows: Picard, Tajumjo, Pugas, Osorio, Susbia, Grandin, Prates, McConkey, Pettigrew, Pelichowski, and Johnson. So we do believe we have all the starters correct for D'Youville. We may have to double-check that a bit later, but we will do our best to clarify any discrepancies that our D'Youville fans may find with that. As we are underway from the College of Staten Island, the Saints do possess the ball first in the attacking third, or at least right on the edge of it, and it's quickly knocked over the near side by the Dolphins, who throw in quickly. That throw taken towards McGuire, and he was bodied away from the ball, but it is knocked over the touchline once again by the Saints, and Leandro Angulo will look to throw. Or at least I thought so. Dolphins are awarded a free kick, so McGuire drew a foul on the contact along the near side. And the Dolphins look to get moving forward off of this free kick. That's Stephen Flores. He finds Kashenko. Kashenko back to Flores. Flores facing some pressure from behind. Now on the official D'Youville College roster via their website, number 11 was listed as Arthur De Silva. On the roster given to us ahead of today's game, the NCAA required pregame roster, he was listed as Arthur Prates. So that roster given to us pregame, we would presume is the most up-to-date. I'll be going with Prates moving forward for the rest of this match as the Saints have an early chance, and Flores got his foot in there and disrupted that shot. Kashenko keeps it in, and the Dolphins avoid some early trouble in the opening minutes. That ball sent back out toward midfield. It rolls across the midfield stripe. Taking a look down toward the pitch already. I do not have a number 29 on my roster. Don't see any numbers changed to reflect a number 29 either. So we'll see if I can get any help from next door on that one in the next few minutes. I know they're listening now. I will tell you, number 29, certainly one of the tallest players on the pitch. Wouldn't be surprised if that was 6'5" George McConkey, but that's pure speculation on my part. McConkey listed on the roster here as number 18. Also has a listing as number 12. So these D'Youville players seem to regularly swap jerseys, or at least it seems that way based on the paperwork I have up here in the booth. That ball redirected toward goal. That is Ethan Picard in net for the Saints. That ball sent out toward midfield. Sau is there. Angulo tripped up. Possession stays with CSI. That's Codicelli. And an emphatic clearance by Nico Susbia along the near side. Throw-in goes to Sau. Angulo switches play toward the far side. That ball didn't get there. The wind will certainly be a factor today as Flores gives chase, and he emphatically clears one off into the distance. So that ball sent a long way, and the Saints will throw in. Just over 3 minutes gone by in this first half. Back and forth action early as McGuire sets up Siegel. Siegel toward the center of the pitch. He has some room. Jockeys for position and was knocked off of the ball by Pyle Lachowski. Angulo towards Sau. Sau got a foot on it, but could not get it to Codicelli. Saints will throw. Pugas throws, and that is sent into orbit. Once again, I presume that is McConkey, but could be wrong. I do not see an 18, and I have McConkey written down here as 18, so that might be him. I do not envy our statisticians on this afternoon as that ball is sent down toward the corner. McGuire giving chase for the Dolphins, and Pielachowski able to shield him off the ball. He will look to send it into the midfield. That's redirected with the head by Suspia and headed a second time by Pugas. Throw in for the Saints. That was redirected off of Angulo and over the fence. We had one ball sent a very long way. Not sure where that one ended up, but it looks like we may have tracked it down. And they do confirm that 29 is in fact 18. They had to bang on the window a bit to get the information across, but they got it to me. Don't know if they're listening to the stream, but I had it right, guys. I had it already, so they weren't listening. They're very confused, but I figured it out, guys. We figured it out. There's only one player who's 6'5", number 29, very tall. Teamwork makes the dream work as we get that sorted out. Dolphins moving into the attacking third toward the center of the pitch. It's sent away by the Saints. Suspia sends one across the midfield stripe. Prates giving chase, and that will roll onto the foot of Amari Thompson. Speaking of not envying the statisticians, Dolphins all season long at home had been wearing their white uniforms with white numbers. Today the team wearing Columbia blue uniforms, black numbers. A great combination, if I say so myself. Love it. We love to see it. If they wore these every game for the rest of the year, I know they would make our statisticians, Louis Matrone, Sal Caruso, our spotters, Nick and Nino, who have helped us all year, Dolphins would make them very happy. Here comes CSI. Bronco moving in. Beats a challenge. Shoots, and he scores! Steven Bronco with a nice move to beat his marker, and he tucks one inside of the far post to give the Dolphins a 1-0 lead. Dolphins get on the board first for the second straight match here at home, and CSI right now is in the midst of playing their best soccer of the season in two big games against conference opponents. We will get one more look at it as that attacking play began from all the way at the other end of the pitch. The assist goes to Brendan McGuire. And we will get one more look at it right here. Once again, Bronco with the goal from McGuire. For Bronco, that's his first of the season. Bronco also now sporting a captain's armband, along with Mohamed Sow. And now Sow will make a run down toward the corner. You're not missing anything live, as that replay did just come to a conclusion. Sow goes down along the touchline. Bronco got a body on that ball. McGuire tracks it down. He's being pressured from behind. Asensio Cueva sends that off of a Saint. That deflected off of Osorio. Long shot is just wide. Good-looking strike from Daniel Angulo. That one just wide of that far post. We will get a second look at that attempt as well. Dolphins putting the pressure on early. Here is another look at that last attempt. That one didn't miss by much. That forced Picard to make a diving attempt. Here comes the Dolphins' corner. Sent it to the middle of the box. It trickles through. Kashenko got a piece, and it is redirected in by Codicelli, but the flag is up for offsides. Dolphins nearly made it a 2-goal game, as they have come out of the gates incredibly strong in these first few minutes. The lines judge immediately threw the flag up. There was no question in his mind. We will get a second look on replay. So we caught the tail end of it. But we will get a look at the redirection anyway. And you only caught the beginning of it. But that redirection certainly looked like it took place offsides. But hard to tell, because we don't know when the ball was contacted based on that camera angle. It's going to be a free kick for the Dolphins here. Angulo will take it. Dolphins picking up right where they left off last weekend. That's sent toward the far post, and Codicelli nearly got a body on it. Kashenko was in the area as well. And the Dolphins have been awarded another corner kick, much to the displeasure of Picard. He was immediately questioning that call, but for the Dolphins, this will be their second corner. First one, a good one. One more to come right here. Once again, Angulo sets up to take it. He sends that one wide of the far post, headed by Kashenko on goal, and saved by Picard. That one sent a long way by Picard, giving chase as Prates along the far side. And we have a whistle. That one may have bounced over the touchline. We'll see. And we have an injury at the other end of the pitch, so that is the reason for the whistle. Kashenko went down. Clock is stopped at 35-31. Looks like Kashenko is going to stay in the game. Didn't see what happened as I followed that ball in flight across midfield. They're going to give the ball to the keeper, Picard. Saints will look to get something started here. The pressure has been firmly upon their goalkeeper's shoulders through these first few minutes. That bounces up over the fence. Picard will grab another ball from behind goal. We approach 35 minutes to play in the first half. Dolphins lead at 1-0. A couple of shots on goal for CSI, a couple of corner kicks. Nothing in either of those two columns yet for the Saints. Goal kick sent out toward the midfield stripe. Sal with a distinct size advantage could not get ahead on it. He commits the foul. Saints are awarded a free kick right along the midfield stripe. Pilachowski will set up to take it. Looks like he's going to send this one long. He does. Toward the top of the box, Kashenko heads it. Several players waiting for it to come down. Shot is attempted, and that is wide. That was Gavin Johnson on the shot attempt. Goal kick for CSI. And Thompson nearly put a little bit too much on that one for Flores. Flores sends it towards Siegel. Angulo back to Siegel. Siegel moving forward. Looking for Bronco. That ball's cut off by Tajumjo, but the Dolphins take it right back. Here comes McGuire. He plays it in front. The net is empty, and the shot is blocked. Angulo made a bid for the Dolphins' second goal, and a good job by the Saints backers to clog those passing lanes and get in front as they saved what would have been the second CSI goal. Dolphins have looked really good so far, and Siegel may look for another chance here. Down to the pitch went McConkey. Angulo switches play toward the far side. Bronco will give chase, and he'll watch that one roll over the touchline. But if you're a fan of CSI, you have to love what you've seen early. Dolphins have had several quality chances already through the first 12 minutes. They've scored. Certainly could be leading by more. As Kashenko goes down, a big offsides call negated a Dolphins goal. And then that last attempt was blocked in front. Picard was very decisive coming out to try and meet that ball. But with two Dolphins making a run alongside Bronco, that was a very risky decision he made. Ultimately, his backers were there for him in support defensively, but that could have been a wide open net for the Dolphins to shoot on. As that ball is sent up toward Asensio Cueva. He redirects for McGuire. McGuire for Angulo. Angulo back to Asensio Cueva. He looked to play one into the box. It was deflected. Siegel gets a body on it. Back to Angulo. Angulo shoots, and that's just high. Leandro Angulo with a strong shot. As the Dolphins have had their foot on the gas from the first minute of this game. They are looking to shoot. If they are given space, they have put shots toward goal. So far, only 2 of those on goal. And that ball will sail over the far sideline. Here's another look at that Angulo shot. Here you see it. Angulo was in a good position to step into that one and shoot. Comes up empty on the attempt. You're not missing anything live as we await a Saints throw-in. It was just taken. That ball sent toward the box and deflected by the Dolphins. Codicelli spins around the leaping Pugas, and here come the Dolphins. Codicelli for Angulo. Angulo up to Siegel, right back to Angulo. Good passing by CSI. Here comes Bronco. Bronco moving in toward the center of the pitch. He sends one toward Codicelli, and that was just a bit long. A good idea. Not a bad ball from Bronco. And he's looked very good through the first few minutes. Bronco, who missed the start of the season with an injury, has returned and immediately been impactful for this Dolphins team. We've seen it in the couple of games he's played here at home ahead of today's match. And now once again this afternoon he's off to a strong start as Angulo is whistled for a foul. No doubt about that one. Clock is stopped at 30-28. Angulo is shown the yellow card. And it's going to be a free kick for the Saints. Now, I think what happened there is Angulo was sprinting so hard behind the play that when the attacker slowed down, Angulo had no choice but to put his hands on him and brace his fall. Still a foul, but I think it looked a lot worse than it actually was. Angulo didn't actively push the attacking player down, just sprinted over him. One might say that could be considered worse, but either way, it's a free kick for the Saints. Dolphins with a wall of 5. Trying to join that wall was Pugas. Sal was having none of it. And that free kick, not a good one. That is way upstairs and into the netting behind the Dolphins' goal. So Dolphins suffer no consequences from the Angulo foul. He does receive the booking. Our first card here in the first half. We're about 15 minutes in. Thompson will send this one likely well beyond midfield, wind permitting, and he does reach the midfield stripe. He has a big leg. Sal back to Koshenko. Koshenko over to Thompson. Thompson waves Koshenko toward the corner of the box where he finds him. Now Sal. Sal avoids a challenge from behind. Saints trying to apply some pressure here. The Dolphins doing well to navigate through it. Sal surveys. He sends that one long. Bronco is there waiting. It travels over his head. Angulo comes over, gets a foot on it, and he finds Siegel. Siegel with the head directs it forward, and he sends it on goal where it is saved by Picard. Dolphins have really done a great job going from one end of the pitch to the other with some speed. Angulo with some nice touches as well to keep possession with the Dolphins there. As McGuire redirected towards Sal, McConkey tried to send it into the air. It found Bronco. Now Asensio Cueva is working against Osorio. Osorio, met by 2 Dolphins, gets it back to Tajumjo. Tajumjo sends it a long way. Flores now finds Angulo. He moves into the midfield. Angulo, given space, continues to dribble forward. He has Bronco. Bronco right back to Angulo. Angulo wanted McGuire, perhaps Siegel, as Sal intercepted, couldn't keep it. Here comes Leandro Angulo. He sends one along the near side, and that's over the touchline for a Saints throw. Pugas will throw it in. He has Suspia. And once again, that's over the touchline. Pugas will throw. He's looking for somewhere to throw. That's headed in the air. Angulo waiting for CSI. Heads it towards Siegel. Johnson got a head on it for the Saints. Angulo toward McGuire. And McConkey, one of a couple of players to make contact with it. Once again, it's over the touchline. Dolphins will throw. Angulo toward Angulo, who wasn't ready for it. And we're going to have a foul as Prates went down hard. He's holding his left knee here. Didn't look like Daniel Angulo was ready for that throw. Leandro Angulo took it quickly. Caught him off guard. And the Dolphins gave it away. They then commit the foul. Free kick for the Saints. They are still looking for their first shot on goal. Dolphins have 3 of those. Players getting set just a few yards outside of the box. Palachowski sends one toward goal, and Thompson is there waiting. Nothing to show for that attempt. Ball along the far side with Bronco. He avoids a challenge, plays it up toward Asensio Cueva. It's taken away by Tajumjo, and the Saints now look to move forward into the attacking third. Surrounded is Prates. He gets rid of it. Saints not finding any open space as they give it away. McGuire for Codicelli, and bit too strong on that pass by McGuire. Throw Bodied by Angulo, nearly got a hand on it. As Cotticelli sends it up to Bronco. Bronco moving forward into the attacking third. Bronco has some speed here. He plays Sal through, and Picard is there. Not a bad idea there on the through ball. Picard definitely anticipated that well. Didn't give it a chance, but that pass may have been a bit too strong regardless, as Angulo takes it away. And once again, Prates is down. Here comes McGuire. McGuire looks to cross, and there's nobody home. Prates still flexing out what initially looked to be his knee, perhaps his foot now, as he collided with the Dolphin and went down for the second time in the last couple of minutes. That ball sent long toward Koshenko. He heads it for Angulo. Angulo. Back to Angulo. Daniel is down. And possession will belong to the Dolphins as the referee played the advantage. Staten Island free kick coming up as Angulo is helped to his feet. Prates still looks a bit shaken up. Koshenko. For Angulo, back to Koshenko. Angulo moving forward into the attacking third, looking for Cotticelli. What a ball! And he looked for Siegel on the extra pass after the flag had gone up for offsides. What a ball by Angulo to set up Cotticelli. But Cotticelli just a bit too quick on that run. He was offside. We will get a second look at it and see just how close that was. We'll make sure we don't miss anything live before we cut away to that replay. And that is chipped toward goal over Thompson and in. Good thing we didn't cut away as the Saints have evened up the score at 1. And that was a good-looking shot as well. It took a perfectly chipped ball to get it over Thompson on that trajectory. And as I mentioned during the introduction of starters, we have number 11 listed as Arthur Da Silva. On the roster that was provided during pregame, number 11 was listed as Arthur Prates. So I am unsure of which one is correct. I would love to give him his due properly, as he has leveled the score at 1 goal per side. We'll get a second look at it once this Dolphins attacking play comes to an end. Bronco towards Sal, and now Siegel has a chance, and he sends it high. With that, we will get a second look at the Saints' goal. It all developed quickly, as you will see right here on this replay. Ball off the foot of Koshenko. It is taken away and sent in front for Prates, who perfectly chipped that ball over Thompson. That is not easy to do. A lot of Dolphins surrounding him as well. And an impressive goal is the equalizer that levels the score at 1. Attempting a long shot there was Osorio. Sal shielding a man off the ball, and the clock is stopped. Now, Suspia definitely sold that one. He did get hit in the face, but he sold it. Now, it looked like the head official had his back to the play. Yet we had a call. I'm going to check it out again on replay, and we'll see if we can catch it. You can't see the head official, but we will get a look at what drew the yellow card ahead of this free kick if we have time. Sal is pleading his case. Here's a look.
Yellow card issued to number 6, Mohamed Sal on the Dolphins.
Suspia was playing Sal very physically. He took exception. Tried to buy himself some more space and connected with the face of his marker. Now, if the referee had deemed that intentional, he certainly could have been shown a red card. So that's fortunate. But like I said, I don't think Sal meant to hit him in the face as the wall blocks that free kick. That ball is rolling toward the near side. It's over the touchline. We approach the midway point of this first half. Two teams tied at 1. And both sides have had moments in this first half where they've looked really good. Specifically for the Saints on that goal. That was a very difficult shot, but the Dolphins arguably have been at their best on possessions where they haven't scored. Broncos scored a very impressive goal, but the Dolphins have had 2 or 3 sequences of passing where they haven't gotten a shot on goal, haven't scored, but have been as impressive as we've seen in that area all year. This certainly looks like a different Dolphins team these last 2 weeks. Plenty of reasons for optimism around the College of Staten Island right now. As Bronco finds McGuire. McGuire looking to move forward. Siegel redirects it right back to him. McGuire still has it, and that pass just a bit too far ahead of Siegel. That's into the Saints bench. Dolphins will throw. Throw in taken quickly. Bronco. Back to Asensio Cueva. Now Bronco. Bronco sends it into the box. Sow in the area. Plays it with the body. And here come the Saints looking to counter. And Gulo shuts that down quickly. And we have a foul. Clock is stopped. And we have another yellow card as this game is beginning to take a very physical turn. That yellow card was shown to number 6, Francisco Osorio. And the Dolphins are awarded a free kick just inside of the midfield stripe. Kishenko toward the top of the box. Bronco tried to redirect, and he's whistled for a handball. This has been a very entertaining first half to this point. Fast-paced action at both ends of the pitch. You can even see it on these throw-ins. The Dolphins can't wait to get the ball in. McGuire looking to redirect for Codicelli, gave it away. That ball rolled over the touchline. Dolphins will throw. On top of that, neither team has made a substitution yet. Not going to be easy to maintain this pace of play for 45 minutes. But we are still awaiting the game's first substitution as we approach 20 minutes to go in the first half. Throwing for the Saints. Taken short. Bronco battling along that far side. Now, there is a chance I missed the sub as the Dolphins move in. That is sent toward the opposite side of the box, and it rolls over the touchline. So I will consult our live stats to make sure I didn't miss any changes. Certainly possible I did, as that ball is sent up into the air. Flores sends that off of Prates in the midfield, keeps it in. And I did miss one sub, so we did have a change for D'Youville. Now, exiting the game was Landon Pettigrew, and entering the game was number 17, Fiston Mutabazi. So Mutabazi in, and Pettigrew out. For the Dolphins, McGuire has checked out, and Stephen Adebisi, who was out with an injury, is in for the Dolphins.
Number 21, Stephen Adebisi enters the game.
Adebisi had a couple of early goals this season and then went down with an injury that put him out of action. He's back, and the Dolphins certainly missed him. The way they've been playing, adding Adebisi to that mix is certainly something that helps them out even further. He was very impressive in his work early this season. I believe the last time we saw him was back on September 14th here at home. Not mistaken, he didn't play last weekend. Here comes Bronco off the takeaway, looking for Codicelli, and he couldn't get a foot on it. Angulo tracks it down. Angulo for Adebisi. Adebisi is whistled for a handball. That just contacted his arm. And you could see Adebisi do everything in his power to avoid being whistled for that violation. Free kick sent out across midfield by the keeper Picard, headed by Sal. And Angulo goes down now. For the sake of impartiality, and I'll say more after this, as Adebisi moves in, and the one-touch shot travels wide, and a good ball from Leandro Angulo. But again, for the sake of impartiality, I mentioned earlier that it looked like the Saints may have been trying to sell a foul. Daniel Angulo is an expert at selling fouls. Definitely draws every whistle he can. And does exactly what he should. If there's contact, do what you can to sell it without crossing that line of embellishment. Now, that's the gray area, and I'm certainly no head referee, so I can't determine when that line has been crossed. But for the sake of calling it both ways, the Dolphins do their share to sell those foul calls as well. Nico Suspia out of the game for the Saints. Now taking a look at the roster I have, I'm not sure the player who entered the game is on it. But the Dolphins may have another chance here. Codicelli toward the center of the pitch. His shot is blocked. Looked to center himself a bit more as he moved toward the top of the box, and that cost him the shot opportunity. Adebisi through traffic. Siegel tried to redirect that one with the heel. As that ball is sent long in the other direction, Thompson there waiting. And Thompson sends it back out toward midfield. Sal continuing to try and fight his way forward. Sal has all that length in the midfield. He sets up Codicelli, and Codicelli's shot is saved. Siegel involved as well, but Sal was able to maneuver around his marker and get that ball moving forward. That's where all of that got started. Now I'm going to double check on that substitution and see if the player who entered is on my roster. Felipe Santos checked into the game. He wears number 10, so he is on my roster. Had to double check as they try and help me through the window which separates the stats desk from the press box. I'm getting a thumbs up now. They can hear me, but with the headset on, I cannot hear them, so it's a very interesting dynamic. I cannot hear them even slightly. So they'll bang on the window, try and get my attention. If they don't walk through the door, I'm not going to hear it. Flores sends it back to his keeper, Thompson. This is Flores once again. Final third of this first half. Just inside of 15 minutes to play as Angulo sends it up to Angulo. Now Siegel. Siegel looking, now moving forward. Siegel has Codicelli. Codicelli looks to cross. He does! Adebisi got a foot on it. Siegel shoots, and Siegel scores! The initial shot was stopped in front, but Shane Siegel would not be denied on the follow. He puts the rebound in, and the Dolphins have taken a 2-1 lead. For the Dolphins, that makes it 2 straight games with multiple goals. And this CSI attack has been impressive during this first half. Now we will take a look at the replay. I am not certain that Adebisi will be credited with a shot. Officially, the assist goes to Dennis Codicelli. And when we have another break in the action, we'll take a second look at it. And we have that break right now ahead of a free kick. So let's get another look at it. Codicelli on the cross, sent it in front. And I think that's the right call on the scoring. Assist to Codicelli, goal for Siegel. There was a lot of traffic in front, but I'm not sure Adebisi ever attempted a shot. He definitely made contact with the ball, but that pinballed around in traffic. And Siegel cleaned up the mess and put it in. Dolphins now with a 2-1 advantage as we've had 3 goals scored in the first half of this match. As much offense as we've seen through the first 45 minutes of any game this year here at Dolphins Soccer Park. These two teams have put on a very entertaining show to this point. As a player goes down there, that was Santos. Head official admonishing Santos. Perhaps he was a bit too boisterous in petitioning for that call. They're saying it next door. The official was up in his grill pointing at him. I'm not sure what was being discussed there, but that was an animated discussion. As that ball is sent into the box, headed by Flores, headed again by Angulo. Codicelli settles underneath it, and he sends that into the midfield. Sent right back the other way by Diouville, but that did not stay in play. We'll have a Dolphins substitution upcoming right here.
Substitution. Number 27, Henry Carino, enters the game. He replaces number 14, Steven Bronco.
Henry Carino is in. Steven Bronco is out. For the Dolphins, the goal by Shane Siegel is his first. For Dennis Codicelli, the assist is his first. .12:15 on the clock in this first half as the Saints have been awarded another free kick. That's a good ball sent into the box. Santos gets a body on it, but he was offsides. As I mentioned earlier, the goal for Bronco was his first. For Bronco and for Codicelli, the points are also their first. Shane Siegel adds his goal to an assist. He now has 3 points on the season for CSI. Inside of 12 minutes to play in the first half, CSI looking to add to their lead. Dolphins played from 2 goals ahead, not mistaken, for about 25 or 30 minutes in their last match after the Kishenko header put them ahead by 2. Siegel finds Angulo. Angulo looking for Codicelli again, another good ball, and Codicelli could not contact it cleanly. Not sure if Codicelli was looking to shoot there, or perhaps looking to cross. Either way, it's going to be a Saints goal kick. In the game last Saturday, Kishenko scored with just inside of 30 minutes remaining in the match. So the Dolphins played with a 2-goal lead for about 29 minutes last weekend. They would love to do that once again here this afternoon. That ball is sent over the touchline, and the Saints will throw. Diouville looking for an equalizer late in this first half. Prates toward the center of the pitch. Sal was there waiting. Prates got rid of it. That pass intended for Santos was blocked by the Dolphins. Now Flores. Flores moving forward, avoided one challenge. Codicelli gives it away and nearly took it back. Call is Saints throw, and we have a Diouville substitution coming on. Number 15, Aiden Scott, into the game. And he will replace Gavin Johnson with just less than 10 minutes to go in half number 1.
Saints substitution. Number 15, Aiden Scott, comes into the game. He replaces number 22, Gavin Johnson.
Angulo will throw. He has Flores. Flores over to Kishenko. And Kishenko will send it up to Asensio Cueva. Asensio Cueva for Siegel. Siegel toward the center of the pitch. He's moving forward with speed once again. Siegel still going. He finds Angulo. Angulo cross toward Carino and Codicelli, but nobody home. Dolphins have moved up the pitch with as much speed today as we have seen all season. Passing has been on point. Plenty of quality shots. Still only 5 on goal. But they've had several other chances that did not result in shots on goal that have been as good as the goal scored. Clock ticks down inside of 9 minutes to play in the first half as that ball sails into the midfield, headed by a Dolphin and then by a Saint. And Codicelli is shoulder checked off the ball. That was an aggressive play there by Prates. Codicelli gets it back. And we have a flag and a whistle. The clock is stopped. Lines judge made the call. And it will favor the Dolphins. So, foul was called from along the near side by the lines judge. Angulo will take the free kick with 8:31 on the clock. That's sent toward the top of the box, headed away by the Saints. Carino trying to keep it with CSI. He does. Angulo sent one into the penalty area where Adebisi and Siegel both gave chase. It's knocked away by the Saints. The Dolphins will throw. And Asensio Cueva will come up to take the throw. Quick throw toward Adebisi. He is battling for position with Pilachowski. Ball winds up on the foot of Kishenko. Asensio Cueva nearly had it knocked away from him. Kishenko back to Flores. Flores toward Codicelli. Codicelli has room. Codicelli looks to cross toward Sal, and it's blocked. Codicelli retreats toward the near side, keeps it in, and he was fouled. Or at least I thought so. Looks like they may say Dolphins throw, but it is a foul. I was right initially. Free kick, Staten Island. 7.5 to play in the first half. Angulo will take this free kick. His teammates set up just beyond the dot in the penalty area, aligned with the far post. Watch out for Kishenko and Sal as Siegel whiffed on a shot, and that is sent into the parking lot. And if you were in that front row, you just gasped. I know none of our crew parked there. They know better. They don't know better? Sal doesn't know better. Corner kick Dolphins. Angulo sends it into the center of the box. It's headed away by McConkey. And Leandro Angulo sent a very strong pass toward the box. And no Dolphin was able to bring it in. Well, it looked like a car in the front row may have taken that ball to the hood or perhaps the windshield. And I'll tell you right now, if that ball hit the windshield, I'm not sure the windshield made it. Looking next door, I saw some nervous faces. Asensio Cueva looked to have gone over the back, perhaps, and I think that's what the Saints bench is saying. They will petition to no avail, as with under 6 to play in the first half, it is another Dolphins free kick. Kishenko for Sal. Sal. Back to Kishenko. Now Angulo. Angulo moving forward. Carino. Carino trying to turn. He has Sal. That's sent to the box. Codicelli in the area. And we had a whistle, and it looks like a foul call against the Dolphins as that whistle came right when that ball landed. Picard will look to send it long. Clock continues to wind down toward 5 minutes as Picard gets into one. That went a long way across midfield. Here comes Prates. Prates got rid of it. Osorio gets tangled between a couple of Dolphins. He's down. The head official is having none of that. It looked like initially he dismissed it, and now the clock will be stopped with 4:53 to play in the first half. And I'll check that out again on replay. Initially, it looked like the head official gave a dismissive wave at what appeared to be an injury. And we'll see here. Here's a second look. The trainer attending to the injured player right now. Hard to tell, given how far away the head official was. That sure looked like a dismissive wave on the replay. Now it looks like the injured player, Osorio, is going to jog off the pitch. And with the stoppage, he's going to have to come out. The lines judge guiding him off of the pitch. He didn't want to leave as he's showing off some battle scars. So Osorio certainly believed that the stoppage was warranted and that he was fouled. Looks like we're going to have a dropped ball here. And we do, as the Dolphins may have deflected that. Throw in for the Saints, and that's headed away again by Adebisi. The official will wave Osorio back into the game, as we're going to have a substitution as well. So looks like number 9, Dylan DeGlopper, is into the game.
Substitution. Number 9, Dylan DeGlopper enters the game.
DeGlopper in.
17, Basone Mutabazi.
And I believe Mutbazi is out. And he is. So Mutbazi out. DeGlopper in. Tackle there by Tadjumjo. And a nice move there by Angulo to avoid one challenge. Could not avoid a second. That ball onto the foot of Santos, and Santos goes down hard. Strong defensive play by Leandro Angulo, who just continues forward as if nothing happened. That drew an audible reaction from the crowd here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Here comes Siegel. Siegel looked to cross. That got through, but not enough on it to generate any chance. Prates had it taken away from behind. Flores has Angulo. Now Sao. Sao sends it up to the far side. Flag is up. And offsides is the call against the Dolphins. Just over 3 minutes to play in this first half. Dolphins lead the Saints by a score of 2-1. CSI got on the board first. Steven Bronco with his first goal put CSI ahead 1-0. Saints got even on a ball chipped over the outstretched arm of goalkeeper Amari Thompson for CSI. And the Dolphins took the lead back 2-1 on a Shane Siegel goal assisted by Dennis Cotticelli. 2:40 on the clock. Prates goes down, and Carino can't believe it. It's going to be another free kick for the Saints. And if they can make something of this set piece, perhaps they can get even. Dolphins looking to take a lead into the halftime intermission. Santos will line up to take the free kick. Dolphins look like they're going to set up a two-player wall. 5 Saints, make it 6 lined up at the top of the box. The free kick toward the far post, and Thompson, sure-handed, brings it in. And Sal is down. Didn't see what happened to him in the midst of that traffic. The clock has been stopped at 1:49. We'll see if we can catch it on replay, but that appeared to be a fairly uneventful free kick. Not much going on there. That ball sailed straight into the arms of Thompson. But here's a second look at it while we have a break in the action. Sal is back to his feet. He appears to be okay. Sal may have taken a shot as one of the Saints attackers made their run, but didn't see anything there that stood out. 90 seconds to go in this first half. Dolphins still lead by a goal. Officially just one shot on goal for the Saints. That one shot on goal found the back of the net, as Santos sent it overhead and it was cleared away by Angulo. Dolphins do have a substitution waiting to check in at the scorer's table. We'll see if that happens here. Not much time remaining in the half. 1 minute to play. Dolphins will throw from right in front of the Deauville bench. They're taking their time as the substitution is made. Dennis Cotticelli heads to the CSI bench. And Joseph Lopez has checked in. 40 seconds to go in the half. Sao is dispossessed. Saints perhaps with one last chance on the counter. A good ball for Santos. Santos moving in, but Flores is there. Flores and Angulo defensively have done such great work all season. Saints will look to throw. They only have 15 seconds. They're bringing everyone forward. Long throw with 10 seconds remaining. And a diving header by Sao to clear the ball away. And Kashenko gets in the way of that long ball. As the first half comes to a close, our score through the first 45 minutes, College of Staten Island 2, Deauville University 1. When we come back, the second half of this NCAA Division II men's soccer matchup. This is CSI Sportsnet coverage of Dolphin soccer only on the ECC network.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
When your car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
Hi, Meals on Wheels.
I'm Marco. I'm a college student, and I volunteer as a driver for Meals on Wheels.
I think it's awesome meeting these people. I mean, they're so interesting. They've had so many wonderful experiences in life. Your community helps to raise you up into the person that you become. Meals on Wheels is a great way to give back to that community.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park for the second half of this NCAA Division II men's soccer matchup between DeUville University and the College of Staten Island. Dolphins will kick off and will attack from right to left in the second half. Saints will attack left to right as the College of Staten Island takes a 1-goal lead into the second half. Goals by Bronco for CSI. And I had to think about it for a second, but Shane Siegel with the second goal for the College of Staten Island. As they have a 2-1 advantage through the first 45 minutes. They are awarded an early free kick here in the second half. This is Angulo. Over to Asensio Cueva. Now Adebisi. Adebisi moving in with some speed. Adebisi, strong touch and a stronger tackle by Tadjumjo. Nicely done by Mael Tadjumjo. And that was cleared over the near side by the Saints. Dolphins will throw in. Asensio Cueva will throw. Long throw, headed out of play once again by the Saints. It was a very entertaining, back and forth, fast-paced first half between these two teams. 45 minutes of nonstop action. Plenty of chances for the Dolphins, not as many for the Saints. But it was one big shot that at the time went down as the equalizer. Here comes DeUville. Nicely done defensively again by Leandro Angulo to get his feet in there and to dislodge that ball without committing a foul. Dolphins now look to counter Bronco. Carino tried to leap over that ball. Instead, he crosses in front, and that is scooped up by Picard. Carino tried to jump over that ball as the attempt by Bronco looked to be intended for either Siegel or Adebisi in the box. Carino inadvertently contacted it and then sent the ball in front himself. That ball sent skyward into the attacking third of the Saints. Flores heads it. Asensio Cueva clears. And that is into the bleachers. Spectators always excited to help us ball run. As that is tossed back out onto the field. Bronco. Now Angulo for Siegel, cut off. Johnson was able to cut that pass off, but then had it bounce off of him on the attempted pass by the Saints. That is sent into the box. Thompson right there. He handles it no problem. Thompson for Kashenko. Kashenko for Asensio Cueva. His pass attempt was stifled by Osorio. Now Adebisi against Tadjumjo. And the whistle goes against Adebisi. Free kick for the Saints. Get you an official foul tally in just a moment. It was also a very physical first half. 3 yellow cards almost in succession. As that ball sent toward the top of the box, headed by Adebisi. Sent back the other way, and offsides is the call. Santos did not like it. Fouls in the first half, 10-9. Dolphins with 10. Saints with 9. Shots favored the Dolphins 12-4. As I mentioned at the break, only 1 shot on goal for D'Youville, 5 for Staten Island. That's headed into the midfield. Adebisi will try and track it down along the near side, but he couldn't get there. Throw in for D'Youville. Was also informed during halftime that I incorrectly said D'Youville College just once in the first half. If I'm not mistaken, we had 4 teams in the ECC transition from college to university during this past offseason. D'Youville, which actually made the transition last year, so we had 3 this season. But ahead of this season, we had Roberts Wesleyan, Malloy, and Damon all become universities. And D'Youville made the move from college to university last year. Dolphins yet to play Roberts Wesleyan, Damon, and have already played Malloy. Men's soccer fell to Malloy when they met the Lions earlier this year. We went through the women's soccer schedule and the conference matchups that awaited the women. As for the men, they have Roberts Wesleyan 1 week from today, Mercy 2 weeks from today, UDC 3 weeks from today, then Damon on Wednesday, October 26th, and currently the final conference matchup of the season that is scheduled to be played against Queens College is listed as a Dolphins home game to be played here at Dolphins Soccer Park. That could change, and we will see what happens with that game as the Dolphins look to set up Siegel in front. That was Carino on the pass, but there wasn't enough room. Picard throws it toward the far side for Pugas. Up to Johnson. He looked to turn and does so around Bronco. That was blocked by Angulo. It finds its way through onto the foot of Flores. And Flores sends it into the timekeeper's area along the near side. That would typically be where our scoreboard is positioned at midfield. But right now the scoreboard is up here in the press box, as has been the case all season. Antonino Cruciata, our scoreboard operator today. Statistician Sal Caruso and Louis Matrone, public address announcer Andrew Rotundo, camera operator Pat Gilorenzo, and on the call, Joe Foreman from the College of Staten Island for CSI Sportsnet, as that free kick is sent far too long. And I think that ended up in the parking lot. Dolphins move along the near side. That ball was knocked away for a moment, and Kashenko takes it back. Kashenko into the midfield. Advantage was being played. Here comes Kashenko. Nobody slowing him down. Kashenko wants Siegel. Siegel, left-footed shot is high and wide, and that one will roll off into the distance. Will that find its way onto Loop Road is the question. Long shot there by Siegel. Not close on that strike. Somebody's going to have to track that one down later. Goal kick for the Saints as we near 8 minutes gone by in this second half. No shots on goal for either side yet in half number 2. Here comes Santos, and he's met by Thompson, who plays it on a bounce. And those bounces have been far from a sure thing for goalkeepers these last 2 weeks. Thompson has been sure-handed. But we saw in the women's game and in the men's game last week goals that resulted from poor handling of a bounce by a couple of visiting goalkeepers. That ball ends up in the Dolphins' bench. And the Saints quickly throw. Make that the Dolphins who quickly throw. As Siegel moves in. Left-footed shot is wide. And Siegel is going to lament that missed opportunity. You saw him put his hands on his head there. We'll get a second look at that last shot as we have a substitution coming on. Here's a look at that attempt by Shane Siegel. Didn't miss it by much.
Saints substitution. Number 4, Nico Sospia enters the game. He replaces number 13, Landon Pettigrew.
That second look is coming, I promise you. As play continues with a Dolphins throw-in. Here's a look at it. Siegel moving in toward the center of the pitch and sends it wide with the left. Saints now in the attacking third, but once again a strong tackle by Leandro Angulo. Not conceding any ground defensively as Carino is taken down to the pitch. Bronco has it. Sal retreats toward the sideline. They are trying to play Sal physically. He's having none of it. And I'm not sure if that's the guy that you want to get tangled up with if you're the Saints. Sal listed at 6'4", 200 pounds. We saw that length pay off earlier in the midfield, and he's been rock solid since coming back to the Dolphins in that area of the pitch. Not mistaken, Sal returned ahead of the matchup against Malloy. Might have been one game before that. Sal returning to the Dolphins this year after a couple of years away. And soon after was named one of the team's captains. Throw-in taken by the Saints, short. And we have another whistle. Osorio went down. Another free kick for D'Youville. Osorio will line up to take it. He has 5 attackers lined up wide side near the top of the box, and Thompson plays that free kick without an issue. Just over 34 minutes to go in the second half. Pace of play has not quite been the same here in half number 2 as we saw in the first half. We did see some late first half substitutions, but many of the starters were out on the pitch for the majority of half number 1. Sal gets through the midfield, no problem. He gets it back, was looking to play Siegel through, could not. Disrupted by Johnson, who goes down, and that will draw a whistle for another Dolphins foul. It's going to be yet another free kick here for the Saints. Fouls continue to pile up. I mentioned it, 19 in the first half. So far here in the second half, 6 fouls, 4 have gone against the Dolphins. That's sent to the attacking third by D'Youville. That's chipped in the air. Prates got a heel on it, now retreats a bit, crosses in front, and that was over the head of Sospia. It's going to be a goal kick for the Dolphins as that one bent over the touchline behind goal. And it's It's hard to see the corner flags, but you can see the American flag on your screen. At least you could moments ago. Those flags really moving. The wind has picked up. This is Siegel. Back to Carino. Carino hesitates. Looked to send it into the box. Could not. Angulo knocks it down with the body. Chips it for Carino. That's a good ball. And Carino just could not bring it in cleanly. Angulo had the smallest of windows to chip that ball into Carino. He made it look easy. As that cross is sent well beyond the far post, and Adebisi is whistled for a foul. We have seen quite a few fouls, most of which have gone against the Dolphins. The official tally says 4-2. I think that was number 5 right there, as the tally does update. As always, you can follow along with our live stats application over at csidolphins.com. Live stats and live video for each and every Dolphins home game. Once again, this is Joe Foreman. I do expect to be on the call for every Dolphins home game this season, and I do expect to have some more help come basketball. A lot of those basketball games fall on weeknights, and for our play-by-play and color commentary staff, weeknights are far better in terms of scheduling. Typically, not much in terms of availability on the weekends. In terms of our crew on Sportsnet, we're stretched very thin on the weekends. Most of the help being dedicated to the room next door, but we do expect to have Nick Durst back for some basketball next month. Nick Bavona and Andrew Rotundo also expected back on the call for some games next month. They'll rotate back and forth. Perhaps each will take a game on Public Address and a game on Sportsnet during some doubleheaders. We'll see. Carino plays it up ahead to Angulo. That's sent into the box and knocked away again by the Saints. Dolphins beginning to exert a bit more pressure as we have another whistle. And once again, a foul against the Dolphins. So the whistles just keep coming, and it looks like the teams are getting increasingly frustrated. Now we have an injury in front of the Dolphins bench. And the CSI bench doesn't appear very happy with the stoppage. Didn't see where the injury occurred. And I think that might be Prates down again. For those of you who missed the open, number 11 on Dieuville, listed on our roster, given to us ahead of pregame, as Arthur Prates on the Dieuville College website. He is listed as Arthur De Silva. Did not get clarification on that. We found the discrepancy just moments before kickoff when we got the starters. And by then the game was just about to get underway. We haven't clarified that yet. Not sure if they've done any digging next door. They're laughing at me through the window. So no help coming from over there. They're certainly having a good time next door, taking in all of the action together. I'm all alone here in the commentary booth, but as I said before, I do expect to have some company come basketball season. With basketball should come the expanding of our engineering as well. May have some additional cameras. As always, we have live replay for you here at the commentary desk, whether or not we have an engineer. But come basketball, we do intend to expand the operation just a bit, as we are going to have a dedicated engineer during basketball season. Now, play still hasn't resumed. Finally, Picard sends that ball long. The clock was stopped during all of that, as Osorio plays it up ahead into the attacking third. Santos has it sent away by a Dolphin. So Prates is out. He was down injured. The Dolphins bench, as I mentioned, appeared a bit unhappy with the stoppage. And now the Saints are whistled for a foul. The head official signaling a jersey tug. The clock has been stopped, and a yellow card has been shown. Now that yellow Looked like it may have been shown to Flores. I'll have to go check the replay. He was not the one whistled for the foul, but it certainly appeared as if he was shown the yellow card. Very unusual situation to see a player who didn't commit the foul get the yellow. Here's a second look at it. The referee throws up the X to stop the clock, walks over, and he was showing Flores a yellow. So perhaps it was something Flores said to the player who committed the foul that drew the referee's yellow card, and Dolphins backer receives a booking. Of course, all yellow cards are double-checked, and our official booking list is signed by the head official following the conclusion of the game. So we will double-check that at the end of the game. Free kick off the fingertips of Thompson, and the ruling is corner kick for the Saints. So D'Youville beginning to get the better of play here these last couple of minutes. The Dolphins have had some really good chances here in the second half, yet they still have not registered a second half shot on goal. And we have another stoppage at 28:31. Tkachenko is down. We've seen a lot of injuries that have stopped the clock so far today. These games have not moved particularly fast. For the women's game, we got on the air right before kickoff. That broadcast went nearly 2 hours. I think it actually eclipsed the 2-hour mark as the corner kick is sent near post, headed away by Sal. And Sal looks to be a bit shaken up. He may have bumped heads with another player. And that's the second time that the Dolphins captain has been a bit shaken up as Tkachenko receives it from his keeper, Thompson. Tkachenko back to Thompson. Thompson for Flores. Flores, long ball toward Adebisi. It's over his head, but onto the foot of Angulo, and the flag is up. Offsides. See if we can get a second look at that. Our camera positioned right at midfield today. So when it comes to an offsides call at the attacking end of the pitch on either side, it's hard to make the judgment on an offsides call. Down goes Angulo. Free kick for the Dolphins, and Sal was ready, but the head official was not. Here's a look at the back end where the offsides was called. A quick look ahead of this Dolphins free kick. Call went against Angulo, and from that angle, it's hard to tell at best. Leandro Angulo has that one headed away off of the free kick. Daniel chases it down. Osorio applying pressure. He tugged the jersey. He grabbed the arm. Play continues. And Angulo looked to be rightfully upset. Definitely should have been a foul there. As Tkachenko just keeps on going. And Tkachenko was dispossessed. But if there is one Dolphin who is incredibly difficult to muscle off the ball, it's Nicholas Tkachenko. We saw in the Dolphins' last game, he was trying to burn some clock down around the corner. He planted his foot on top of the ball, and nobody could take it from him. As that throw finds the foot of Adebisi. Adebisi toward the center of the box. That's chipped in the air by a Saint, and Santos will let it land. Dolphins throw quickly, and Asensio Cueva puts his hand up as to say, my bad, as that's headed into the bleachers. Substitution coming on. Looks like Prates is coming back in for D'Youville. Two Dolphins set to check in. Looks like Kirilu and Codicelli from here. But we will double check that with the room next door after the subs are announced. And that might be Joffrey and Codicelli. We will await the official announcement as they get it sorted out next door. I believe that's Joffrey and Codicelli. Free kick awarded to the Saints once again. That's taken immediately. And the Dolphins had it for a moment, but Codicelli lost it. Another strong tackle by Angulo, and Prates is down again. Prates not garnering any sympathy from the crowd, that's for sure. A very Dolphin-heavy crowd as we have an offsides call, and the Saints are upset. Now, we'll get a look at it again on replay. So officially it is Joffrey who checks in along with Codicelli. We have another injury, so that's the perfect opportunity to get a look here at that last offsides call. There you see the pass. Now, that is, again, just so hard to read from the angle we have, but I say it every time we look back at an offsides call. From up here on video replay, from the angle at midfield, it always looks like the attacker is on sides. It looks that way every single time. So I'm very hesitant to offer an opinion in either direction, but any view we have, our viewers at home will have. And ahead of this free kick, here's one last look at it for those who perhaps want to see it again. Now, the one thing I can say with that angle is that you can't see the Dolphins' backers, the center backers, and then the backer along the near side, as Codicelli is flagged for offsides. So the offsides calls continue to go against both teams, and we'll get a tally on those as well.
Number 13, Landon Pettigrew, enters the game. He replaces number 11, Arthur Prates.
Pettigrew checks in for Prates. And Prates was down injured again. That's at the very least the third time Prates has gone down. May have been the fourth. As Santos contacts it with the body, tried to shoot. It was blocked by Kashenko. Angulo finds Joffrey. Now Codicelli. Codicelli for Bronco. That pass a bit behind him, but Bronco was able to get a foot on it and could not keep possession. Siegel deflected that ball. Here comes Angulo. Angulo bodied off the ball, and a foul is called against the Saints. Only 9 total offsides in this match. Seems like most of those have come here in the second half. We can actually check on that as well. Of the 9, 4 of them have come in the second half, so not the majority yet. Free kick awarded to the Dolphins. Angulo will take it. That is sent wide of the far post, and Angulo was shielded nicely away from that play by the defense of the Saints. That was Leandro Angulo making a run toward the far post. Looked like it was Avery Grondin on the play defensively. Did a nice job to maintain position on the inside of Angulo. Grondin's team still trailing by just a goal. As Codicelli moves into the attacking third, he's tripped up, and we have another foul call. Neither team has been shy about utilizing the foul to slow down movement up the pitch. We've seen 4 yellow cards in this game, and given the number of fouls, I'd say that's not many. The teams have utilized their fouls well. And now Angulo will attempt a free kick directly in line with the center of the box. He looks to shoot it, and that is sent high. Now, I'm not sure how much Angulo accounted for the wind, but the wind is blowing right at him. So he had to put some extra on that one, and perhaps that's why that sailed high. Angulo has already scored on a free kick here at home this year. And his free kicks have been of high quality all season long. Brendan McGuire will check back in for the Dolphins. Stephen Adebisi heads to the Dolphins bench.
Comes in for the Dolphins. He replaces number 21, Stephen Adebisi.
It's good to see Adebisi back out on his home turf after he was sidelined for a couple of weeks. Saints unable to keep that one in, as our ball runner, Steven, nearly got taken out there. He narrowly avoided a soccer ball straight to the chest. Dolphins will throw. Inside of 21 minutes to play. As Asensio Cueva had a window there, he has Siegel. Siegel avoids one challenge, finds Codicelli, and Codicelli's shot is saved. Dolphins turning that throw into a quality scoring chance. And finally, we have our first shot on goal in the second half. Play now down in the opposite corner as we're going to have a Saints throw in. We'll see if we can quickly get another look at that last Dolphins chance. It might have to wait, but we'll see if we can squeeze that replay in. We'll wind it all the way back to the throw. As that ball sails into the box, is headed away by Angulo. Onto the foot of Pettigrew. He sends one up into the air, and Thompson has it. Here's a look at that last attempt by Codicelli. There you see Siegel navigating his way through traffic, leaps over an attempted tackle, and found Codicelli, who put that shot right into the middle of the Saints' goal. Didn't challenge Picard much, but at the very least will keep him honest, as he hadn't had to work much up until that point. You can make the case that that still holds true, as he's faced just the one shot on goal in the second half. Saints will throw from along the far side. Clock now inside of 20 minutes remaining in the second half. McGuire beats one marker and has Codicelli. He plays him through. Up the far side, Codicelli moving in. He enters the penalty area. Strong touch. Looks to put it in front, and that is sent over the touchline off the mitt of Picard. Nicely done by the Saints goalkeeper to stay home on that one. He had some Dolphins to look out for as other players were beginning to make their runs up the pitch. Now, once again, player to watch out for here is Kashenko. We know he's capable of scoring on a header, as that is deflected toward midfield. Asensio Cueva there waiting. Asensio Cueva sends one off of Pettigrew. That one has to sting in the cold weather. As Thompson now gets rid of it. He has Joffrey. Joffrey for Angulo. Now Codicelli. Codicelli will play Angulo through. His pass is blocked. Codicelli with a hesitation. Dribbles toward the center of the pitch. That ball rolls into the midfield. Osorio for Santos. Santos and Flores in a foot race. And Flores, as has been the norm, gets there on time to clear it away. Flores has been busy in this afternoon's game out of that center backer spot. Ball was in the air, landed on the foot of a Dolphin, and Santos couldn't track it. Landed right at his feet. And we have a whistle for a player who may have been a bit shaken up. Clock is still running here. That might have been Avery Grondin. And it was. Now, if that is the captain's armband, which I believe it is, Saints captain sporting a white armband, Dolphins wearing that Volt yellow on the arms of their captains, Sal and Bronco. Two teams exchange possession in the midfield as that's chipped ahead for Siegel. Siegel gets there, and Pilachowski was able to dispossess him, but Angulo was there waiting. He intercepts the pass. Angulo gets behind a shot. It's blocked. Angulo for Asensio Cueva. Asensio Cueva up to Siegel. Siegel surveys, has Angulo. Angulo wanted Asensio Cueva, couldn't get it to him, but the Dolphins' possession continues. Now McGuire, his shot was blocked. Bronco avoids a challenge. Bronco shoots. That was partially blocked, and it rolls into the arms of Picard. We are inside of 16 minutes to play. The Dolphins' attack has picked it up these last few minutes. Couple of shots on goal. They earned a corner kick. The Saints with still just one shot on goal, and that found the back of the net in the first half. Osorio sends one long, and there's no shot. Suspia was going to get there, so it's going to be a Dolphins goal kick, and that will likely bring us down to 15 minutes remaining in this second half. Mohamed Sow will check into the game. We will see who he is going to replace. Shane Siegel is jogging toward the sideline, and Sow will replace him. So Siegel is off, Sow is on. We are inside of 15 minutes to play. The Dolphins looking to make it 2 straight on their home turf. Saints will look to find an equalizer in the final 15. As Angulo redirects for Angulo, it was taken away for a moment by Johnson. He is still battling with Kashenko. And Kashenko has it once again. Asensio Cueva up the pitch toward McGuire. McGuire moving in. Has Codicelli. That was a good attempt, but Pilachowski was there. Good awareness by the Saints backer. He did not have his eyes on the ball, but was able to read it anyways. That's sent onto the foot of Sow, and he couldn't connect. A sliding attempt by Sow comes up empty. Here comes Angulo into the box. Angulo still moving forward, and that pinballs around onto the foot of a Saint. It is cleared by Pugas. Flores will chase it down toward his own goal. Thompson will wave him off. Thompson, far side toward Joffrey. That ball didn't really travel the way that I would presume Thompson wanted. The wind is still strong here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Corner flags, the American flag, and anything that can be impacted by the wind is moving right now. However, our camera tripod outside remains steady. Thumbs up from Pat outside. 13 minutes to play. Free kick once again for the Saints as the Dolphins will set up a 2-player wall just a couple of strides away from the corner of the box. Looks like it's going to be 5 Saints lined up at the top of the penalty area, scattered about as the free kick is taken toward the far post, and that is just a bit too long for George McConkey. Looked like Saints were trying to take advantage of the 6'5" frame of McConkey along that far post for a potential header. A couple of fakes ahead of that free kick. Trying to catch the Dolphins breaking in the wrong direction, or perhaps breaking a bit too early. Saints will throw in from along the far side. It's headed by Angulo back into the benches. Another Diouville throw-in coming up here. We near 12 minutes to play in the second half. That ball sent toward the attacking third. Angulo towards Sow. Pilachowski got there, and that ball is rolling toward the touchline. Thompson wasn't sure whether or not he should stop it. He does, as he will bring it into the penalty area and will pick it up. Thompson will be tasked with protecting this 1-goal lead. The Dolphins hoping they don't keep him too busy in between the pipes. Just 1 shot on goal for the Saints in the second half. Neither team had a shot on goal for quite some time here in half number 2. As the Saints bench wanted a foul call, they don't get it. Play continues with Flores. That ball sent up towards Sow. Sal establishes position, and McConkey takes it away. A battle between the 6'4 Sal and the 6'5 McConkey. They're going back and forth. Angulo for Cotticelli, and that's off Cotticelli's foot. Substitution here for the Saints. Believe that is Aiden Scott who checked back in, and it is. So Scott's back into the game. Landon Pettigrew is out. We near 10 minutes remaining in the second half.
Saints substitution, number 15, Aiden Scott.
It's going to be a Dolphins throw-in to be taken by Joffrey.
Number 13, Landon Pettigrew.
Joffrey throws. That's headed by McGuire toward Cotticelli, sent it to the air by McConkey. McGuire heads it again, winds up on the foot of Angulo in the midfield. Now Joffrey up the far side for Cotticelli. Joffrey leapt over a challenge. Here comes McGuire. McGuire was looking for Cotticelli. That ball was interrupted, and we are going to have a throw-in for the Saints. Throw-in taken by the Saints. Two teams fighting for possession as Sal spins away from a challenge. Nice move there by Sal. He has Bronco, but the left-footed attempt is off the mark. Fortunately for the Dolphins, that will yield a throw-in, and it does not concede a goal kick. So the Dolphins still have a chance down at this end of the pitch. They will certainly be looking to apply pressure, as that is sent a long way by Osorio into the midfield. Joffrey got a piece. That ball rolling up the pitch towards Suspia. Santos thought it was going to end up with him. And we have a collision there between Joffrey and Suspia. It's going to be another free kick for D'Youville as the clock winds down inside of 9 minutes. Now we have some pushing and shoving. Clock was stopped at 8:49. Angulo was in the middle of that. He got caught between a pair of Saints. Now we saw a pair of Saints run over the ball on the last free kick. Two players lined up over the ball here. Santos sends it into the box. It's off one Saint, and Kashenko was able to send it out of the box. Joffrey moves forward. His pass is taken away. And that is sent toward the box. Santos makes a run, but Thompson was ready for him. Osorio was looking for Santos on that ball, and the timing was there. The ball just a bit too long. A good idea, as McGuire now will look to turn. He has some space. His shot is just wide. Perhaps a bit more than just wide, but it forced Picard to, at the very least, offer a dive. 8 minutes to play. Second half, Dolphins lead by a goal. Pilachowski will take this free kick. He sends it long into the attacking third. Joffrey was there waiting. Johnson gets a foot on it. Angulo the first to it for the Dolphins, and he sends it off of Johnson. Throw in for the Dolphins. Angulo sends it up the far side. It stays in play for McGuire, working against McConkey. That ball sent toward the near side, where the Dolphins will throw in once again. Asensio Cueva looking for somewhere to go. He has Kashenko to his right. Doesn't seem to want to throw it in that direction as he finds Sal. Sal sends it over the sideline with the heel. Tad Jumjo throws. Headed by Santos. That's sent a mile high. Bronco working against Osorio. Now Kashenko. Over to Angulo. Kashenko. Over to Joffrey. Joffrey up to Cotticelli. Cotticelli moving up the far side. Gets it to Angulo. Advantage Dolphins here. Daniel shoots, and Daniel scores! Daniel Angulo finds the back of the net as he reveals a Long Live Abu t-shirt, a tribute to former Dolphins goalkeeper Bagari Sissoko. Sissoko tragically lost his life last season, and Daniel Angulo offering tribute to his former teammate as he puts the Dolphins ahead by a pair. CSI now leads it 3-1, and we will get a second look at that Angulo goal. An impressive-looking shot from the Dolphins midfielder, and a closer look at the celebration after as well. Here's a second look at it. Shot by Angulo, left Picard with no chance. What a strike by the Dolphins midfielder. And then a tribute to Bagari Sissoko, Angulo's former teammate. Angulo receives congratulations from one of last game's goal scorers as well, Nicholas Kushenko, in the midst of that celebration. And that could be the goal that puts this one on ice for the Dolphins. They lead by a pair with under 6 minutes to play. Bronco down around the corner, moving in. He has some space. He was looking for Youssef Dardir, couldn't get it to him. Sau now being pressured, retreats, has Leandro Angulo. He splits a pair of markers. Sau thought about a shot, instead backs it up. Now Codicelli. Codicelli for Angulo. Angulo, chance to shoot again, and Angulo sends it high and wide. Angulo was looking for another there, and he had a good look at it. Nice lane to shoot, as we'll take a look at that shot once again as well. There you see it a second time, as the Dolphins will make a change here. Bronco heads off, and I believe that's Joseph Lopez who checks in for the second time. 4:40 remaining in this second half. Dolphins now have some insurance and plenty of breathing room in these final minutes. As things got a bit tenuous there, we have a collision. Will they stop the clock is the question right now. Clock has been stopped and the trainer has been waved out onto the pitch. And you hate to see this, but throughout this game, we have been plagued by injury stoppages. Players have gone down time and time again throughout this match. In most cases, it has been the Saints on the receiving end of some hard falls. And I don't know who it is that is down right now. Didn't catch it ahead of the stoppage, but we await the end of this injury timeout with 4:17 on the clock. And while we have a break, we can take a look at those last two Dolphins goals. First, Daniel Angulo on this attempt, or at least I thought so, as that shot was saved. So the Angulo goal would be the next replay in line, which would be right here. Here's a look at it as Angulo sends one top shelf beneath the crossbar inside of that post. No chance for Picard. That put the Dolphins ahead 3-1. Following the conclusion of this replay, we'll wind it back to the first half and get a look at the first two Dolphins goals, as it was Nico Suspia who went down injured on that last play. He's helped up and appears okay. So we are still awaiting the resumption of play, and with that, we'll look back at the second Dolphins goal in the first half. Officially, Codicelli to Shane Siegel, as that ball rattled around in some traffic And Siegel was able to put it past Picard for the second Dolphins goal. We then wind it back just a bit more. And we have the first Dolphins goal. Here it is. Steven Bronco, with some nice dribbling, avoids a challenge, beats his marker, and puts it past Picard. Didn't have a big window either. An impressive goal for Bronco. That put the Dolphins ahead 1-0 at the time. Dolphins have not trailed at any point in this game. The Saints did get even, but the Dolphins have separated themselves here in the second half. They lead by 2, and will look to wind down the final 3:45 in the second half on their way to a second consecutive win. Now, we've said it, or I've heard it said anyway, that it's hard to sweep a doubleheader. And in baseball, that certainly holds true, but from my experience, it's tough for one team to sweep both halves of a doubleheader in men's and women's collegiate athletics. It just always seems that one game goes one way and the other game goes the other way. If the Dolphins can close this out, it certainly appears as if they are on their way to doing so. It will be a clean sweep for CSI Dolphins soccer here this afternoon at Dolphins Soccer Park. The women took the victory in our early game, 2-0. And the men right now trying to protect a 2-goal lead. And that ball hit a car hard. We could hear that from up here. They're laughing at it next door, but I'm sure whoever owns that vehicle is not laughing. Saints substitution here, as Duville will send Ismail Sadali onto the pitch with 2:20 on the clock. Now, it looks like that soccer ball that traveled into the parking lot interrupted a massive pizza delivery. If you take a look out toward the parking lot, and this is for the room next door, not our camera operator, but there's a massive pizza delivery going on in the parking lot right now. And that soccer ball contacted a delivery vehicle. That's where it landed. So that's what's going on back behind the Dolphins' goal. There's at least 5 or 6 pies stacked on top of that vehicle out in the parking lot. Wouldn't it have been something if that ball contacted those boxes? You'd hate to see it. 90 seconds remaining here in the second half as that skips to the arms of Picard. Picard has allowed 3 goals against 8 shots on target for the Dolphins. That last shot, or at least the goal, by Angulo, an impossible save. There was no way Picard was going to get to that one. I think the goal he had the best chance of saving was the first one. And the second one could have been saved by either Picard or the team. There was a lot of traffic in front. It got extremely hectic ahead of that second Dolphins goal. A lot going on in front of the Saints net. As we are now inside of a minute to play, the time on your screen is official. And that is sent into the penalty area. Trickles through some traffic. And Javier Campos, who is into the game for CSI, made contact with it. Looked a bit shaken up as that's headed in front. And the Dolphins are trying to clear it. Haven't done so yet. It's in the air again. And Asensio Cueva tracks it down and sends it away. Angulo for Dardier. Dardier making a run. Here he comes. It's a breakaway, and Dardier will score. With 6.8 seconds remaining, Youssef Dardier finds the back of the net, and he is fired up as his teammates join in on the celebration. The Dolphins take a 3-goal lead, and for the College of Staten Island, this goal total marks their best of the 2022 season for Dardier. That is his first. Daniel Angulo with the assist. And that adds to the stat line for Angulo, who now has a goal and an assist. For Angulo, that assist is number 2. The goal was number 3. As I mentioned, the goal for Dardier was his first. And that will bring an end to this Dolphins victory, a convincing victory for the College of Staten Island as they win it by a final score of 4-1. Here is one more look at the goal by Dardier from start to finish. Angulo in the midfield saw Dardier making his run. Another great ball from Angulo. His passing has been on point all season and through his entire Dolphins career as he finds Dardier for goal number 4. And Dardier is joined on the celebration by his teammates, Codicelli and Angulo greeting him in the corner. The rest of the Dolphins make their way down to join in. And the College of Staten Island caps off a 4-1 victory with Dardier's first goal of the season. For the Dolphins, the victory improves them to 3-7. They move to 2-1 in the East Coast Conference. The struggle for D'Youville continues. It has been a rough season for them. They fall to 1-9, 0-5 against the ECC. As I mentioned earlier, our next broadcast will be women's soccer on October 13th. The men return to action here at Dolphins Soccer Park on the 15th. And until then, this has been Joe Foreman for CSI Sportsnet and for all of our crew here at the College of Staten Island. We thank you for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on the 13th for women's soccer against Bloomfield College. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.